Bro, Sonic is so underrated. Y'all want to get into fast food because I'm a fat boy. Sonic is so underrated. Don't care what anybody says, bro. Shit's so good.
Pull up with the McDonald's fries?
McDonald's fries are overrated.
No. You eat Sonic's food and
It's
say
like-
it's good.
It's not even like food, but it's all fake. But
Yeah.
it's whatever.
You get what you pay for.
Yep.
Basically, even though that shit's still overpriced, bro.
Facts. What they put us through for that food.
That ain't it, Chief.
Welcome back to another episode of Sneak Speak. Today is July 22nd, 2020. I am Mateo.
What's up, guys? It's Mason.
And this week we have two special guests from their Instagram account at West Coast Chords. You guys can go follow them on Instagram.
Should do that.
Make sure you do that. They drop a ton of fire stuff.
Sir.
Super legit. I met Noah in LA. Oh, I kind of ruined it. I met one guy in LA and I ran into him a couple of times. I've never met the other guy. I'll let them introduce themselves.
No, go for it, bud.
So, what's going on, guys? I'm Noah from West Coast Chords. I'm 17. I go to Orange Lutheran High School. Like I said before, Instagram's West Coast Chords if you want to give that a follow. But, yeah, my other guys over here.
Yo, I'm Cole. I've known this fool for like 3 years, almost going on 4. Went to the same school. I'm at Huntington High now. I'll be 17 in like 3 days now, so that's about to be pretty cool.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you, my guy. But yeah, man. Cole Frank 53 on Instagram and West Coast Chords because we do that shit.
We got all the young entrepreneurs on this podcast.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's about. That's where the bulk of all the, it's not a secret, that's where all the bulk of all the sneaker reselling comes from. Most of the adults don't think it's too liquid of a.
It's kids following in adults' footsteps. That's what
Yeah.
it is. It's people building up to be those adults to pass it on to other kids. Like that's how it went for me, at least.
Because if you're a minor, you can't enter the stock market, right? So like the sneaker
Exactly.
market is like as close as you're gonna get. You get to learn basically all the same terms and things. The only difference is that you're actually getting a product. You can't just flip it in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You have to wait for it to come in, but everything else is pretty much the same. You have market trends. You have bids.
Pretty much.
asks.
I mean,
yeah.
you have drops and rises. You know, you understand it.
Yeah.
But everything's here and there.
Yep. So how'd you guys get into sneakers?
I actually met this fool. I met Cole and before freshman year, we went to football practice and met him there. But he was really into sneakers. He was into streetwear as well. And through kind of like talking to him and getting to know him, I grew a love for what he loved basically. And we kind of became friends over that. But that's how I got into it.
I sold him his first piece.
Oh, you did?
I sold him one of his first pieces at least. Fall Winter 17 shoulder bag, the Cordura ones, the black one.
Damn.
And I gave it to you for a steal, bro. I gave it to you for $100. That's $100.
I didn't use
Those
it.
things they're at like almost $400 right now.
That like
Yeah, I
water
didn't-
repellent looking one?
Yee, the like shiny black material.
Mason, you remember that? That was my first Supreme piece for
I remember
myself.
that too. We had that too.
I had the teal
Yeah.
backpack and I had it for like 3 years.
Yeah, I plugged my homie.
I had the white one.
We had a similar
I had the white
story
one for like 2 years.
to get into
yeah.
reselling because I wasn't that into it. And Mateo just kept showing me shoes until I liked shoes. So
Yeah.
Mine's kind of weird, at least. Like, I got into it from my buddy's dad. Shout out Papa Wilkes. Man's a goat. But he had Tiffany's. He had Tiffany's Purple Pigeons. I got 2 pairs from him. I have Brian Anderson Highs and Newcastle Lows. Both are just beauties. He gave me for retail, too.
Mm.
What a guy. But he was definitely one of the first people that got me into reselling and just understanding the market in general. Like, my first trip to Fairfax, I bought my first Supreme piece, which was it was like a faux fur camp cap, black, and it was so sick. I have no fucking idea where it is now. It was like 4 years ago. But, yeah, I was 12 getting into it. But everyone was like, bro, you're like 17, 18. I was like, bro, I'm 12. But I got into it young. I started reselling hats and beanies at my middle school. So I would buy them for retail and upsell for like $30. So I'd make $30, pay my parents back, profit, and then eventually started that.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how like people start in different areas. Like you started in hats and beanies. Like
Yeah.
I don't even remember I remember I was flipping like the Supreme like toothbrush.
We didn't even touch
Yeah.
hats or anything though.
Yeah, like we didn't like I was kind of flipping stuff like just for fun, and I didn't really like we made our Instagram account like second semester senior year, but we were I was flipping stuff for like a year and a half before that, but I didn't really realize what I was doing.
Yeah. Some people they hate on people that are getting into the game who are like parent funded, and I hate
No,
that, man, because like everyone starts from somewhere. So
Yeah.
I mean,
No one, everybody starts parent funded. It doesn't matter. Everybody does until you have the capital to where you can build it yourself.
yeah,
Like my first big scores, I got Off-White UNCs for retail.
right.
I hit those retail on sneakers when they dropped. I remember the day. I remember everything that happened that entire day. It will never leave my brain. But I got those for retail because I remember a Jordan 1 restock happened. I didn't get any of the fucking restock pairs. Like, they restocked Chicago's and shit like that. Got none of them. Hour or two later, fucking UNC's dropped. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to go for them. Not going to get them. Hit on 11. And at the time, I sold them for $900. I paid my parents back with $150 on top. So I got like $550, and that's how I started.
That's the
But
turning point when you no longer.
That was where it clicked, and I was like, I can fucking do something with this. So
Yeah.
it's really worth it, you know?
Yeah.
But that's where it really started for me, and I was like, this is an industry. It's not something that I can just do for fun, you know?
Yep.
For me, I remember I like wasn't a big Jordan guy, but I really loved the Jordan 1 Storm Blues when they came out like 2017.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
I convinced my dad to get those for me as like a joint birthday Christmas present. I wore them like one time and I was like, I can't do high tops, and then I sold them and I felt bad. I was like, is it okay if I sell them? And so I just kept that money. So like that was the only like daddy funding that I ever got, was like that one birthday gift. But I just took that. I think I sold it for like $220 or something, and I just kept flipping that. But other than that, but
Think
like I
about
had
it
to
at the
start
time, though.
somewhere.
That was probably a good price at the time,
Yeah.
like $220.
Yeah,
They skyrocketed now,
yeah,
but
insane. They're at like
Years
600
later.
a couple
Yeah,
months
years
ago. I was like,
later.
yeah. But like, I had a pair of the metallic red ones, you know, the white and red
yeah,
joints.
yeah,
I had those, and I sold them for like $210 after I wore them a few times because I don't like high tops. I'm a Vans guy. I will rep Vans till the day I die.
yeah. Me
Like,
too. I'm the same.
That's my thing. Vans are my shit. I got them, but yeah, I had those. Didn't like them, and I was like, no, I'll figure it out. Made a few bucks, but I wasn't mad at it. I still miss those shoes though. They were some beauties.
So today we have some very interesting topics. We have perfect guests to talk about some of these topics, like bots, the decline of Supreme. Is it dead? People have been asking, is it dead, for like maybe 2 seasons now. I think
I'm not gonna say it's dead, but it's downhill.
yeah.
I'll say downhill definitely.
Yeah.
Not dead.
So we'll get into that pretty soon. There's a lot of stuff going around. I wanted to talk about revenge storms, but there's a lot of stuff going around with like the fake pairs and like the bulk buying, and it's a whole other story. It's insane.
I just call them revenge fakes.
Yeah, at this point, they're just like they like make them 1-to-1. It's kind of crazy. Most embarrassing reselling moments, scammers. A lot of this is going to come, followed up by our usual upcoming investment opportunities, sleepers, all that stuff. You want to start off with the revenges?
Yeah, we can do that.
Cole's pretty passionate about it. I want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
I'm a personal revenge hater. I've owned a pair, and I still shoot my foot, like owning it, you know.
Yeah.
And I did own a pair. I was that guy. I was like, fuck yeah, these are so cool. Wore them once. They were the most uncomfortable shoe I've ever worn. They were the green pair, but they were uncomfortable as fuck. And I was like, you're just copying Vans. Like, you're purely copying the old school. You're throwing a bolt on it, and you're selling them for $200. Like, that's some cheap shit, you know. They're probably making them for $4 a pair, and I mean that's every shoe, but that's a pair of Vans. There's no reason to be $200, you know. But the whole market right now, they're all fake. Every pair that you see, every plug, they're fake. But I also say that every pair is real because every pair is fake. So there's not really any more fake pairs when every pair is fake.
That's interesting.
Only times you're going to see fake pairs are the knockoff bootlegs that aren't any of the actual colors, you know?
Yep.
But personally, I've always been a fuck revenge.
So let's go back to when you actually bought a pair of Revenge Storms. I don't think Mason owns any. I own 2. I bought them like I think a year ago, like last summer. Noah, do you have any? personal pair?
No, I've never had a pair. Never.
But so let's talk. So why? I kind of have my reason, and I'm a big Vans. I'm a big waffle head, just like Cole said.
Vans.
Yep, he's wearing a Vans hat. So why did you decide to get a pair of Revenge Storms back then? What was your reasoning to get them back then?
It was hype. I was being a hype guy. I was being fucking stupid, and I was like, "Hey, man!" And it was a come up too. I traded a shout out Backwoods Threads. Homie doesn't resell anymore, but he's still a great guy. But I traded him a Supreme scale at the time. I think it was at like $120, something like that. I traded him those and some cash on top. I think it was like $40 or $50. So we'll say $150.
Yeah, even back then they were going for over 200 though.
Yeah, they were going 250, 3 even on some of the limited pairs. Yeah. But I was like, fuck it, $150. They were brand new too. I wore them twice, and I wore them to Disneyland. Also bled on my feet because I wore them to Disneyland.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
But, yeah, and then I sold them to, I don't remember who I sold them to, but I think I made a little bit of money, not much, but I wore them and I was like, yeah, fuck these. These are terrible. But
I think it completely is. It's all about the hype. Like, I mean, if you can say that about any brand, though, like, I don't know, that's just how it is right now, and people are starting to realize that they are just Vans, I feel like.
I think it's interesting that you say they're very uncomfortable. So for the people that don't know what we're talking about, Revenge Storms are basically old school Vans. Instead of the stripe on the side, you have a lightning bolt. On the tongue, it says Revenge. On the back, it doesn't say off the wall. It says off the shits, which actually is like kind of cool. But other than, and like the bottom has like the Revenge logo on the sole. But like it's really constructed exactly like a Vans old school. But in my experience, they're not uncomfortable. I've noticed that the soles are a little bit like stiffer,
a little flimsier. I think they like deteriorate a little easier. I think
maybe
quality not there.
Would you think there would be if you're marking them up?
Yeah,
exactly.
I bought my pair because like I have so many Vans. I worked at Vans for a while. I've like more than half of my collection is Vans, and I wanted something different, and I bought a pair of Revenge Storms because. At that time, they didn't have a pair of green. I got the green ones just like you did. They didn't have a pair of green old schools with Vans. They ended up releasing them like a couple months later, but they didn't have those. They have the flame old schools, like the black ones. They didn't have the teal flame old schools, and I like those, so I bought those. So those are the only two that I have. But it was just because like I had so many Vans and I wanted something different. I was willing to spend the extra money, and like the hype did draw me in a little bit, but I didn't just buy it because like I'm not an Ian Connor fan. Like I barely know anything about Ian Connor, like the designer. But like it looks, I'm not gonna say like it looks dope and like the Vans looks completely dry. But it was like a nice change to have. I actually wore them to work sometimes, and people would be like, "Oh, where'd you get those?" I'll be like, "They're
bro,
sold
these
out."
custom. I made them myself.
But about the Revenge plugs, people have started to buy and sell in bulk, and that's when this happened. Like, I think it was like back in September 2019 or November.
I'd say about 8 months ago, 9 months ago,
StockX,
when it really started to get popular.
Yeah, and the big thing was that StockX had stopped selling Revenge Storms. I think it's because
that was a huge hit. Yeah,
they had a tough time. Like,
well, Goat also
checking.
just recently stopped selling them too.
I think they're gonna put that into effect on the 31st. So in a few days.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they've announced that they're no longer gonna be selling or consigning or dealing with Revenge Storms because I think it's just because that the fakes are just too good, and so people are buying in bulk overseas for like under $100 a pair, and the market has gone down from above 200 to down to like 120 to 150, 160 a pair maybe. But there's so many of these plugs going around, like especially Instagram.
Yeah,
I mean, I know people that are selling in bulk for like 80, 70, 80 a pair right now. So like you look at that and you're like, that ain't right.
We're approaching a price point where it's basically a Vans. Like we're approaching the price point where it's like it's not really crazy to go pay the $80.
Exactly.
No one's gonna get mad at you for buying fakes at this point because it's like you're not gonna find a real pair unless you bought it like last summer or before maybe. But like
I bought a pair. I got the black. I got them from the pop up. I bought the black reflective ones. I bought them at the pop up. I was gonna buy Noah a pair, but he ended up not wanting them. Good on him. Good job. But I got those. They were $220 retail, cash only.
Really?
And I was like, all right,
Cash
whatever.
only?
And at the pop up shop, it was $220. It was the blue pink and green one, LA
Yeah,
exclusive.
the like
Yeah,
neon, not neon,
But,
like pastel colors.
Yeah, like the neon pastel
Yeah.
colors. But yeah, and I was like, I don't like any of those colors, and I bought them in my size. I was like, maybe if I don't sell them, fuck it, I'll wear them, whatever. And I ended up selling them for $250 to a senior at my school at the time. But I made $30 on it just for a trip, and I wasn't mad at it. But for that price point, it's just not worth it, you know?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think I started like questioning it when I started seeing, because you said the pop up, those 4 colors. I don't remember where they released the white one, but like it was only LA.
Yeah.
And maybe one other city.
Yeah.
But then I just saw like a ton of people getting them. Like, like they didn't even make this many. Like, there's no way this many people have them. And I started questioning it. And then StockX kind of just made the Revenge Storms disappear without really giving us a reason. But I was still kind of naive back then. I didn't really know what was going on. And now
I think
it's all
everyone
making
kind of
sense.
just figured it out and was like, this doesn't really add
Yeah.
up. The market's oversaturated, and way too many people have their hands on them.
Yeah.
Like, from what I remember, at least, like, if you had a pair of Revenges, it was like, oh, fuck, those are limited, you
Yeah.
know? Like, you got a plug if you had Revenges, you know? But now anybody can get Revenges, so.
And I don't want to say mine are real, but like I'm like 90% sure mine are real because I bought them like
so long ago,
I had them
before
when
the
I
market
was
was
still in
actually
high school.
oversaturated.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
like they could be fake, but like I'm like now I'm scared to wear them because nobody knows when I bought them. People are gonna be like, "Oh, those are fake," but like,
and
you can't even tell.
tell in the comparisons.
Yeah.
And like if
I
I sell them
mean-
now, I was hoping to make a little money back, but I'm not. No way I'm doing that. I'm not gonna. Make
Yeah,
any
I
money
mean,
now.
there's a guy right now. I don't want to say he's in like hot water, but he just bought. I don't know if it was 1,000 or 2,000 pairs, and
oh my god.
he's selling them for like $60-$70, and everyone's just looking at him like, man, I wonder what those are. And it's just like you can't get away with it anymore, and so your buyer has to know what they're buying, and they have to like basically accept what they're buying, and they know. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things right now where it's going to slowly die out in the next month or two, and then you won't really hear about any more revenges.
And the thing is too though, like
Disagree.
this entire I think this is where I might be reading Cole's mind maybe, but this entire time we've been like Vans, like they're basically just Vans, so why are we paying an extra $140? Well, now we're getting to the point where they're only $60 to $80. We're getting there. And if Vans are $60, $75 in the first place, then you're not really overpaying. You're paying a little bit extra to get this like there's like of course Revenges are more rare than Vans, and it's like something different, but now we're getting to that point
Yeah.
where it's not really about the price being so expensive, it's about what you're wearing, like what you're representing.
I disagree on I disagree on the dying down. I don't think it's gonna die out so fast because those people that couldn't afford them when they were at that $200 to $300 price point are like, fuck, they're only $70-$80 now. Like, no, I'll buy some, you know, and they're still gonna think that they're all so exclusive, but they're just oversaturated. And those are for the people that don't really understand the market. They just want the hype,
Yep.
you know. So I think it's gonna take a while, but they're definitely gonna die.
I
out.
think
People are gonna
if you
realize that ain't
genuinely
it.
like the pair, I don't see any issues with that. Like, I mean, it's unique. Like Mateo said, like it's unique, and you might not want like an old school pair with the same logo. So, I don't see any issues with people buying it because I know Munib is really, really interested in getting a pair. So, I mean, it's no knocks on him because it is a cool looking pair.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I should, instead of dying out, I definitely should have said something more along the lines of the hype is gone. Because I don't see resellers selling them anymore in 1 to 2 months because they don't want to be associated with it. And I don't see people buying them for the hype. I see people buying them like kind of what you guys are talking about, where it's, oh, I've never been able to have these. Now I can get them. They're just the same price as Vans. They're basically a van. So I don't see them dying out soon, but I see the hype on them going away very fast.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
along
I
that
agree
lines
with
of
that.
dying out, Supreme, would we say
Yes.
what exactly? So what is
going
about
on with
when-
Supreme?
About when would you say that people started having this conversation as Supreme dying out? Like what was going on during that time that made us start talking about it like this?
This is a cold topic for sure.
I'm the Supreme guy. Noah's always been the shoes, but Supreme will always have my heart. But so when Carlisle Group bought 50% of Supreme, they oversaturated the market and they made the production over 2 times what they were. So anything that you have, so like I personally, I'd be able to get a tee like fall winter 17, spring summer 18 for 50, $55, I think it was, and easy make $50.
I remember I sold one for
now
like 130, and
exactly
crazy.
Now you're scraping by to make $5 because everybody gets them, you know.
Yeah.
So my thing, it's overproduction. I don't think it's dying out. I think the resale is dying because it's overproduced.
Yes,
and that's one of the main. That's the
it.
biggest thing about Supreme too, is that it's limited, and
yeah, exactly. Everybody wants it because you're like, oh shit, it's online every week at 8 a.m. That means that it's going to take some effort to get it, you know. And like I'm a manual guy. I like to stay true, be manual. Noah's the botting dude. He does it, but I'm like, fuck. All right, didn't get it. I missed out on making $10. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's personally worth it unless you're getting 5, 10, 15 shirts a week to actually be able to make that money back, you know? Because that profit just isn't there anymore. And I think it was also ruined by StockX having fees and people fucking pay out, blah, 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 stuff like that.
Exactly.
I also think StockX fucked the market. I'm not going to say they fucked the market, but they made it more available and they changed the way that reselling was, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
At least from what I remember.
Like, I think they helped reselling, but they messed up the market.
They boosted it into mainstream media, at least. I'll always give props to StockX for that. StockX did all the advertisements and made it to like, all right, 2 clicks with some fees, boom, you got your shoes.
Nobody would know where to get Supreme before. If you didn't live in New York or LA, they were like, you had to know somebody to get Supreme. You had to go on eBay, but then you
had to have a real plug.
Yeah. And with StockX and I guess same with GOAT with like all these limited sneakers, it all used to work much differently less than 10 years ago. And
most definitely
2015, 2016, 2017 comes around and you have a marketplace like StockX that literally has everything that you've been looking for. And not only
just a few types,
only the overproduction, like you said, but now you have oversaturation, like everything's in your face. Like everybody is able to buy it.
The demand is there, but the supply is too high.
It's mostly
they're meeting the supply and demand. That's the thing. They're meeting what they want to do.
It's about what Supreme wants their image to be, because if they want to keep the hype going, they're gonna have to sacrifice some profits.
Well, the thing they're making more money too. They're selling more stuff, making more money.
Because it's always gonna sell out.
$3 to make a tee.
That's the thing. Like
it's always gonna sell out. It just won't resell. They don't give a fuck about resell.
Like Nike doesn't care about what a Jordan resells for.
No.
They just care that sells out. That's why they can boost up the Jordan 1 price from 160 to 170. No one cares.
Exactly. They know it's gonna sell. They could market to 200 by the end of this year, and they're still gonna sell out. It doesn't matter.
I think personally, I also think that Supreme, if you look at everything that they own, not just the hottest items, I think they're one of the ugliest brands, like in terms of the clothes.
Yeah.
But I personally like a lot of I like more stuff from like 2013, 14, 15. And even if you take like some of the most hype collabs, like the North Face collabs, always like one of the biggest ones. The crumpled paper one.
They've been cheeks the last few years.
The crumpled paper one, and then like the one that was like super heavy leather. You remember that one? Recently?
Yeah. The wax stuff, I think it was.
Like what? They're just running out. Either they're running out of ideas and not getting creative, but like the Statue of Liberty
they just
stuff.
Don't care.
They know they can put out anything, bro.
That stuff was dope. That was original. I'll say that.
Pretty
the Statue of Liberty was original, but they missed the design.
I just think they could have. Yeah, they could have done it better. I think my favorite one is that one with the North Face collab with the maps on it.
That's always going to be top for me.
Yeah.
The art logo.
The thing is, they're always with these drops. They're always going to need something to go in store because they have stores too. If you go into any Supreme store, it's always the worst stuff. No one's going to buy it.
Facts.
You think no one would buy it. You go in and it just sells out because they always need something to have in store.
I mean, if you saw, they did a sale the other day.
They haven't.
They're like, fuck, we have a bunch of stuff.
I feel like they haven't done one.
No, it's been a minute. They used to do in-store sales. Yeah. So at the end of the season, it'd be 2 weeks. Whatever they had left, they'd mark it down.
It was like 30% off the whole store or something.
Yeah.
Those are nice. And then they went away right after they got oversaturated. And then, I don't know, they're confusing.
No, it's nice. I got a nice little personal piece on that sale.
Yeah. Did you? You got one? What'd you get?
Yeah, I got the like the plaid jacket. Forget the exact name of it, But I've been eyeballing it, and it was just nice to get it for really low.
Yeah, especially since it was like a surprise. Like, I mean, not a surprise, but like they don't announce it or anything. They just kind of do it. So with the decline of, I think everyone's in agreement that Supreme is on the decline. So what are we seeing a rise? Like, what brand is on the rise? Might not necessarily replace it, because that's like Supreme still has, I think, the number one spot in everyone's heads, even though they're on the decline.
Supreme
they were so
and Bape will always be up there.
They were like so
they're the original.
hot,
No, nothing beats the OG. You know, and I think people are starting to appreciate Bape a lot more just because of the downcline of Supreme, or decline. Sorry.
Personally, right now, I don't see, obviously, like you said, I don't see anything taking number one on the hierarchy. But what I'm seeing right now is all these tinier brands with, like, I'd say almost like an Eric Emanuel style, where they have one item that they produce different styles of every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, maybe once a month. But you're seeing these smaller brands that are gaining followings, obviously that are never going to be the size of Supreme's following, but you're seeing these brands kind of all become part of the like streetwear, kind of like
the niche.
Yeah, the niche. And so it's not just like this one big brand anymore, or it's not like Off-White and Supreme. It's like Eric Emanuel, Supreme, Off-White. You're seeing Revenge clothing come out, which is weird. You're seeing a bunch of like Unwanted. Just like all these
my boys. Yeah. Shout out Unwanted, bro.
You're seeing all these just
I'm gonna plug them real quick, but shout out Unwanted. I love those dudes. Yeah. They're great guys.
No, you're just seeing all these smaller brands kind of like rise up and like take this spot that's just slowly emptying where Supreme used to fill, and it's kind of nice to see.
Shout out Unwanted.
Yeah. So like they're losing kind of like a big chunk, but a lot of these smaller brands are kind of filling in. Like I've noticed a lot of Worldwide Youth. That one like company called Schmiel,
Fuck Schmiel.
That like Lyrical Lemonade thing is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're popping off
FTP too. FTP.
Well, with Lyrical Lemonade, they realized that they had a market to sell to. They didn't just have to be music. You know, like they got a Jordan collab within 3 years of them being a thing. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah. FTP, I think FTP is one of the
FTP.
Out of all the smaller ones, if we're considering them a smaller one, that has to be like the one
Shout
that's
out
probably
Zach.
doing the best.
Also,
Foul Play.
And not so much relating to resale, but I feel like designer brands is always going to be on the up. I see a lot of that.
Fuck designer.
I mean, yeah, fuck designers, but I mean, it's always going to be in demand. And I mean, as much as Mateo, as much as you and I like Palace, I've been expecting it to go up, and it just has not been doing that. Like, there's the Jobs
Palace
Worth
is
tee,
super
there's
niche,
a few other
FTP.
stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like Palace will always be on a similar level to FTP, where people aren't reselling it; they're wearing it because it's nice clothing.
And I think eventually it'll catch up. But I wonder, like, what is it gonna take to do that? Because they're still pretty.
I've been
pretty
expecting
limited,
that, but
like, their name's just not so big that they're selling out of like. Because if it didn't say Palace, if it said Supreme and it was the same exact designs, I guarantee you they'd be selling out, and they'd be worth more than the Supreme tees right now. They just look better.
What these brands need to do is they need to, which I don't think they want to be as Supreme was with like how limited their product is, but if they wanted to be the new Supreme, they'd have to limit their product, like almost like pretty much half it, especially with FTP. Now with FTP, about like 3-4 weeks ago, they like 3 weeks ago, they dropped the FTP, the FTP Newports. I ended up getting like 15 pairs of those, and it's like. Yeah, so it's like one of those things where...
Fool didn't get me a 12 for my toes, bro.
I'm sorry, bro. Like,
fucking asshole.
People hate when you hear someone selling FTP. Like, these FTP guys, they're like, why are you selling FTP? And it's like, well, it's one of those things where I need to make my money, and that's kind of how I'm doing it right now. But it's also, they're like trying to make FTP like Supreme. So if you want it to be like Supreme, why aren't you you're gonna have all these resellers come in here and kind of ruin your little niche. See, like with these types of brands, you kind of their followers have to like pick and choose what they want. Like, do you want to be like Supreme, or do you want to be in your own category? And so with me, it's more of, I don't think anyone's ever going to take Supreme's spot, but I feel like no one wants to be like Supreme either.
And like people are going to come in, like people are going to hate on the resellers, like trying to profit off of like the whole brand. But like that has to be a big part of how you're going to make your brand bigger. Not because you care about the resale
Everyone's
prices,
trying to make money.
But like if us resellers are putting it in people's faces that have no idea what FTP is, then they're getting introduced to FTP in a different light, but that's just going to make them check out the FTP website when they have another drop. And that's just going to bring more customers to their brand.
Exactly.
It's interesting to think how
like,
much, how good Supreme would be doing right now without StockX. Because I feel like a huge majority of their sales right now are all from resellers. So
it's that click sell now button.
Yeah.
Bro.
If you think about it, I feel like
the death
I
of
feel
me.
like they're not like they don't spend money on advertising. We do it for them.
They don't need to. That's the thing.
They make like skateboarding videos on YouTube or something like that. But
the closest company that besides Designer that you're gonna find bootleg is Supreme. Supreme Bape and Designer. So like you'll never find any more, like the most bootleg faked items will always be Designer, because Designer is considered the top. You're paying for the luxury, you're paying for the quality. That's why it's faked. But everyone's like, well, I can't get my hands on the Supreme tee, can't get my hands on the Bape. Fuck it, I'll just fake it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where market kind of gets fucked, because you don't know how much is fake, you know? But it's here and there. It's just super fucked. I just hope that these brands never turn into a Designer, or not into a Designer, but the criteria of a Designer.
Yeah, that kind of idea.
Yeah, where it's so popular, no one can get their hands on it. I would never want that.
That's very interesting to think about now, after we talked about how they used to be somewhat like that, and then they started oversaturation, and then now we're going to get to a point where like no one can get their hands on it.
Yeah.
And revert back.
Honestly, I mean, Supreme can turn it around within a season or two, so who knows?
Agreed. If they slow their production down, or not slow it down, but they reduce their production and not make it more limited, but just produce less, and people realize, wait, not everybody has this one tee, you know? If people start to realize it's more limited, it's just going to go back up. But they don't care about that because they're still going to sell out. They're still going to make their money. It's irrelevant to them. Yeah. They don't care about the resale market.
Shout out Penny, Manib's boy. That dude goes crazy. I just started thinking about, like, we went with him to where we met up with him when they did the bandana insane box logo drop on t-shirts. He was like $4.50 in line and he still got one. That should not happen.
No, not at all.
And then he bought it off the street. He walked away with 3 different t-shirts. He got one from someone in line, like on their way out of the store.
What would you say, Cole? I ended up with like 7 or 8 of the bandana tees. I had like almost one of every color, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you had a few.
Yeah.
You go in store too? No,
I didn't.
We never get in store, bro. We always try, but we have school. We'll always sign up, but we never get it. You
just buy it off other people?
That
usually, yeah.
Bots.
What are we segueing into?
I was trying to figure out a segue. Let's just jump into bots. I'll let Noah take it away, because I literally know a little bit about botting, but basically just the computer will do the work for you. But Noah
people are always curious about bots.
Yeah.
People always want to know bots, and we aren't into that as much as some people.
Before Noah gets into it, I'm just gonna say what I've learned from him. Like you said, the computer does the work. It doesn't, bro. I tried to hang out with him. He's like, bro, I gotta set up my bot for like 4 hours. I was like, what the so like it's so much effort into it to let the computer do the work, you know? But go for it, buddy. That's all you, man.
Yeah. So I'll just start kind of like at the basics. It all starts with just having the bot. But to have the bot, obviously you have to pay for it. My first bot I ever had, which was a recommendation from almost every botter I ever talked to, is called NSB, Nike Shoe Bot. It's perfect for everyone that's just trying to learn because it's so simple and it's really easy to set up. But when you are botting, there's all these little things that it comes down to. The first thing is your cookies, which basically when you're accessing a site manually, like let's say I'm going into Foot Locker, your clicks and like your mouse movements is generating cookies, and you need a cookie to check out. So your cart won't let you check out if you don't have a cookie. So with bots, they now have software where they auto generate cookies. So basically that whole thing is obsolete and they've bypassed that. But the next thing is proxies. Now there's 20, 30, 40 different proxy providers out there. Some are really good, some act like they're really good and they're not, and some own the fact that they're just at the bottom but their price is so good. Now, when you're botting, it just always comes down to your setup, if you gen cookies right, if you have the right proxies. Because you run it on a server, so you can pay for a server, which your upload and download speed is completely ridiculous. But it's all of this combination of things that ultimately comes up to you pressing play. And so it takes me probably, like, let's say for a footside drop. So Foot Locker, Foot Action, East Bay, and Champs. Like the Zions from this past weekend. It took me about 2 hours per bot to set up. Not because it took me 2 hours. Of course, I'm taking a little break here and there. But first, I generate cookies. I import the cookies. I get the proxies. I put the proxies in. I make individual tasks with individual, like sometimes I change up the profiles. With some bots, I have to put the proxy into each task manually. On my bot called Splash Force if I wanted to pick up the proxy. So it's like these little things that just add up time and time and time. So I'd say for the Zions, I probably took about a day and a half to set up over 4 bots. But that's also because I ran multiple sites on a few of the bots. But I ended up coming away with 23 pairs on Saturday. Or was it Saturday?
So that answers the
Saturday.
question, is it worth it?
So... yeah. So personally though, it took me, so this is like my 9th or 10th drop. This is the first pair I've come out with the first drop I've come out with double digits.
Second.
Luckily it was a second. Oh yeah, the Newports. But I only made like $20 on each Newport. But on these Zions, I did pre-orders for them, which is just the way to do it for me now, because I did pre-orders for $300 a piece. And I got them all for like $240 after shipping.
Screw California tax.
So I ended up making like $60 a pair. Bro, horrible. That 10%
especially in LA
kills me. But dude, it's horrible. But yeah, for me to tell you that botting is worth it would be me lying to you, because it's different for every person. What I would do is, like I said, NSB is a great starter bot if you ever want to get into it. I know people are like hating on people who are botting right now. And it's because they aren't able to like obtain what they want or like get what they want to resell. And I kind of take it back to adapting to how reselling is changing. Reselling isn't going in store anymore, winning a raffle and then selling it on your page, or like flipping used shoes. Like, yeah, people are doing that, but the way that I believe the game is changing is all these random
brick
drops
flippers.
or these hype drops. Yeah, brick flippers, but the bots just help you on everything there. And for me to tell you that getting into botting is worth it, you'd have to try it yourself and figure it out not on your own, but you have to try it yourself to figure out, is it going to be worth it for me? Because I have a bot that right now is sitting at around a pretty penny at like $2,500. It's not the most expensive bot, but they're releasing their 2.0 update soon. I'm holding on to it. Bought it at $1,700. But that, I guess that brings me into my next topic about bots, is just flipping them. So when I'm thinking about flipping a bot, I'm looking at their announcements lately. If they're announcing an update, how well they've been doing, how well everyone thinks they're going to do, how well I think they're going to do. So my personal experience with this, I bought Sol AIO for around $530. This was right before the foot sites added their Adyen purchase protection, which kind of like filters through all the purchases and makes a bunch of cancellations. And what Sol had was Finish Line and Hibbit, which are 2 sites that don't really make many cancellations. And so I saw that they were going to implement this, and I invested in 2 copies of Sol at $530 and $570. Now I sold 1 copy at $1,300, and I sold 1 copy at $1,400.
How long was that turnaround?
2 weeks.
For both of them?
It was a 2-week turnaround. Yeah, for both.
Sweet.
So I actually bought both on the same day, sold both on the same day. I think it was not even a whole 2 weeks. It was more like 12 or 13
bro,
days.
this dude spent 3 G's on 2 bots in 1 day. I was like, you kidding me?
Yeah, but it's more of if I had the capital at the time, I would have bought 4 to 5 copies. That's how much I believed in the purchase I was making. Now, with bots, there's also the aspect of will it work this week? And I could have been holding Soul, and it couldn't have worked that week, but luckily it did, and it could have gone down to like $400, and it could have never reached what I sold it for. And so it's also a lot of luck. But
so if it has like a bad week, that's like something that's gonna make the value go down on it.
Exactly. So this last week, there's this bot called Project Destroyer.
Yeah.
And what happened is they announced, like I said, these announcements are big for these bots. They announced cookieless tasks for Yeezy Supply and Foot Sites, and that was big for the Zions. It was right before the Zions, and so basically during the Zion drop, people who owned PD and people who were investing in it thought that it was just gonna work. Like 100%, they were gonna get more than 10 pairs at minimum. Now I have 3 friends that have PD. One of them got 5 pairs. One of them got 2, and one of them got 0 on that bot. So what happened after this drop is it tanked. So it went up from around 1,000, 1,100 up to 1,800, 1,900, and now it's back down to like 1,200, 1,300. Now, if it tanks again on this upcoming week with 12s, it's gonna drop down below $1,000.
Bro knows what he's talking about, bro.
Such drastic drops.
Bro knows what he's talking about.
Such like huge drops.
So you just gotta. If you're gonna get into botting, start small because you never know what's gonna happen.
Don't jump the shit.
NSB would be my
biggest advice.
Nice starter.
Sorry, nice little starter.
Your starter kit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what was I gonna say? Oh, back. So
Yeah.
thank you for that story, that lesson.
Very
I
helpful.
knew nothing about any of that stuff. And so to go back in the beginning when you were talking about how like the game is changing and how like in the past, like not even a decade ago, sneaker drops where you camp out for hours, you can go whenever you want, you bring your lawn chairs, your heavy coats, wait through the night and get your pairs and flip them on Facebook groups. Now it's like you sit at home,
Exactly.
set up your bot for a couple days, watch all the pairs roll into the mail, and then ship them out through StockX. Like, it's completely different. And for me personally, I like the camping. I think it's fun.
Dude.
That's
That's where
actually
you
where
meet
I met
people.
Noah.
Yeah,
Like,
I met.
you expand.
It wasn't
yourself.
exactly at a drop.
I met my.
I met Noah not at a drop, but at a store opening. But we camped for like, I think we got out there like 4:30,
Oh, I
5 a.m.
wish.
Yeah,
And-
it was rough.
So I went with Brian, who was on episode 2, and then we ran into Noah and a couple other
Our
guys.
homie
and
Makai.
we just
Shout
chopped
out
it up there.
Makai.
Yeah, I actually still camp out with Brian
So,
sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I like doing that. If you know how to bot, it's like, it's obviously, as if you can do it like Noah is, like, it's more efficient.
It's worth it if you
It's
have
like,
the capital.
it takes a
it's
lot
worth
of
it.
capital. Yeah. That's the thing. So how much does like NSB cost?
So their retail is $500, but with a discount code, which is what you can find, you can pay about $20 for a discount code. Your discount code is usually 25 to 35% off. I paid $30 for 35% off code. I paid like $325. But yeah, you're paying $325 for the bot, but then you're spending $40 on your proxies. And then I think that would be your cost for the first drop that you have, because NSB manually gens cookies for you. So you don't
wait,
really have
those
to worry about
proxies,
that
how long does that those $40 proxies, how long is that going to last you?
So from personal experience on this last Footsite drop, I didn't really cop on Footsites. I copped 22 pairs on Yeezy Supply. I only got one on Footsites because I don't really have a Footsite bot. But with cookies on Footsites, you burn them really fast, and it's the same with proxies. Now, when you have your proxies, there's two main types. There's DC proxies, which is a data center proxy, and then there's your residential proxies. Residential proxies, you pay for data usage. So you prepay. So like, let's say you pay for a gigabyte. You can probably burn through a gigabyte if you're running 300 tasks in about 30 minutes. Now, if you want to run 300 tasks for an hour, you're going to have to buy 2 gigabytes, which on I use two providers. I use Notify and I use Surge. Notify is about $11 a gig. And then Surge is, I believe, so that's what the discount code. Surge, I believe, is around $10 a gig with the discount code, which they're really easy to find. You can join their Discords, which is I'd say per drop, I spend about 2 gigabytes of proxy, which is about $20 to $30. And then I also have Yeezy Supply proxies, which are $20 to $30 there too. And then DC proxies are unlimited data, and you pay $1 to $2 depending on the DC per IP.
My God.
Yeah. So my costs for last drop
too much work
was I bought a $530 bot called Splash Force at the time, which is really low. Now it's up at 800 because it did so well on the easy supply drop, or 750, 800. But so I bought that 530, and then I bought more DCs, about 25 DCs, $25. It was $1 a piece, and then I bought 2 gigabytes of resis, so residentials. So that means I spent, let's just say $570 on that drop. I made all my money back because of how many pairs of Zions that I was able to get. But for a new
Were
botter,
all of them pre-orders?
I had 18 pre-orders, and then I had 5 that I ended up just getting. I already sold all 5.
So 18 pre-orders, that's $60 times 18 automatically.
Yeah.
Right?
Automatically,
And
that
then
was straight profit. All I had to do is ship it out to the guy. But I also run slots where if you trust me, you give me your address and card information, and if I cop for you, you give me like $20 to $30 and it gets shipped to you and it comes out of your account.
Yeah.
He got denied on my card.
That's all I know.
I gave him my card. He didn't hit.
One of our homies, Kyle, has Project Destroyer. He's not cooking like more than maybe 3-4 pairs on significant drops. Maybe like the Bread Concord lows was like the biggest one at like 5 pairs. He's like still getting into it, but he runs me slots. That's like about as limited as I know on botting, as I just give him my information, and I've probably hit maybe a total of like 5 pairs, and he's had it for like a few months. No, probably more than that. Definitely more. Like maybe like 10.
Yeah.
But like
I do a lot of PAS slots, pay after success.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I had some good experience with that, but I mean, if you know how to do it yourself, of course. That's
the pay after success method is like nice for us that don't. That's almost like the step before
for all
investing
of
in like
us,
NSB or something.
like Cole said, is that don't want to do all that work.
Yeah, for
many
me,
pairs of flints
it's
did
more
you get?
profitable. Me, I think I only got 11.
Oh, that's still.
Or no, wait, I ended up getting
Only.
9. Because I ended up
Only.
getting 9 because 2 got canceled, and I was really mad I didn't get double digits. I got 9.
Best part about this dude botting flints, I walked into my shoe palace in my mall, grabbed a 13. I made like 60, 70 bucks, dude. I walked in and the guy was like, "Hey man, it's reservations only," and I was like, "I don't have one." He's like, "All right, fuck that, dude. You're here first. I'll just give them to you." I was like, "Shout out, homie." I was like, "All right, cool."
But Cole,
Let's go.
I didn't have to leave my house.
Nobody wanted them. Sold them on Goat for $350, somewhere around $350.
Again, there we go with Goat.
Yeah, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I have a
over.
good sell rating on Goat because I've sold my shoes that I just didn't want anymore. So I don't like StockX. I like Goat a lot more than StockX at least. But yeah,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
talked about
but
that.
Yeah, that seems to be a reoccurring theme on this podcast.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's got the
Goat's
used
nice.
market.
Goat.
The
Another
used market
thing-
always helps, you know.
Yes.
Without Goat, you don't
Yeah,
have a used
absolutely.
market to reference off of, you know. So
Yeah.
that's my standpoint from
Yeah.
Goat at least. But
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. What episode was that, Mateo? I don't even remember.
Like, dude, like all of them.
I want to say 4.
It comes up in like
All
all
of
of
them.
them. Like I think the first time we talked about it was 2.
It's
I
just,
think we skipped 3.
Yeah. So check out episode 2. We had everyone listening. We had a podcast on that. We talked about the rise of Goat, and that was when they first announced that they were releasing Supreme.
Yeah.
I don't like that
We
they did
first
that.
covered it, I think,
I don't
in
like
2.
No,
You don't.
I think they were
Interesting.
smart having the shoes and having the used market, unlike StockX. I like that they did that, and I think not trying to copy StockX, but open their market, and I don't think they should have. I think if they kept it at just DS and used shoes, they would have been cool. And I mean,
What do you think about that for your personal gain, like as a consumer?
oh dude, I buy good. The only time that I buy shoes off a site is off Goat. Like I'll try and hit Instagram first, and I'd rather not pay the fucking $25 of fees with shipping, taxes, and everything. And we live in California.
Yeah.
We have the worst
Yeah,
state
yeah,
for
yeah.
taxes.
That's
So,
the worst.
It's
That's the
trash. You
worst.
guys know I hate the state. I'm not gonna get political, but I hate the state. But
Another thing that I think we should talk about is what Cole brought up earlier was just like the morals of botting. He said, because you said I'm just a
Yeah.
manual guy. Like I'm just gonna go on the website.
I'm gonna give it my
try
best.
and get it. If I don't, yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's just, what are your thoughts on that? like the morals of botting. Like
Go
obviously
for it.
it's a dog eat dog world in this reselling
Yeah,
world.
I go ahead.
It's a kill or be killed, you know. So it's evolving. The reselling market
Exactly.
is evolving. So I used to shit on bots because of Supreme because I'm a Supreme head, but go for it, man. Like if you have that outlet to make more money and figure shit out in bulk, and why wouldn't
Why
you?
wouldn't
It's
you?
like saying, would you rather? Why would you want to spend $500 and make 1,000? Like that's cool. Why the fuck would anybody be mad at that? So good on them. Go for it. I think it's a great thing, but fuck you. Let me get my pairs.
Yeah.
No,
It's a whole thing. It's like if you're on top, you love it, and if you're not, then you're.
I mean,
then
I'm
you're
not
a
on
hater.
top,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
still for it. Go for it, man. Like
Yeah.
you're
You get
you're
to see
making
your
your
partner
money.
in
I
action.
mean, yeah,
like,
I don't get
yeah.
anything off of his gain, but you're still making money. I'm happy to see it. I'm never gonna shit on somebody for doing something on their own, and like and doing it and making their money. Like Noah doesn't get help from other people. He had to figure shit out on his own. Good on him. Like he's doing it. He's doing good. So botting, okay with me. Just let me get my pairs.
Yeah.
That's all I ask.
I kind of have to. Yeah,
leave a couple for us.
Yeah, well, I'm agreeing with you there, but like, so the only reason that I ended up getting into botting is because we were on Instagram like flipping used stuff, old
Yeah.
Supreme, because we're both really into that type of stuff, like older Supreme. But it's more of a when I was on Instagram, I just stopped being able to find and sell stuff. Like I wasn't buying, I wasn't selling because I couldn't find anything.
People are always undercutting.
Yeah, no, I looked at what
Yeah.
was going on and I said, why can I not find this and why can I not sell this? And I looked at what was going on and I saw everyone's botting. Everyone's trying to get these releases and they're selling releases to apps. And so I take it as the resale niche is adapting. And I don't want to be left behind and I want to adapt with it. So the reason I started botting was I want to keep reselling, but I don't want to get left behind. And so it was more of a, I need to get into this before I get left behind. And that's why I did it. And I know there's people that are flipping bricks and there's people that are still like really good with local guys. They're making a lot of money local. But for me, my only outlet was going to be botting. So I feel like the morals behind it like now are different than like a year ago. Because a year ago, I'd look at a botter and I'd be like, why? Like what's the point? Like you're taking it away from everyone else who wants to get it. But now that I'm botting,
Everyone's taking it away from everybody.
exactly. So now that I'm botting, I'm like, well, if we were all manual, not everyone manual would get it anyways. So for me, the morals of it comes down to opinion. And it's not really a moral at this point. It's more of a, do you like bots? Are you too afraid to get into botting?
It's a sink or
Do you not
swim.
want to? Are you uncomfortable? Yeah, it's a sink or swim. So for me, it's not really morals anymore, like it was like maybe a year ago. But now it's more of your opinion on botting.
Well said. Well said.
I love how like we all do the same thing when we resell, but we all have our different specialties, like what we focus in. Like botting doesn't work, or it could work for bricks, but like that's not the same. The whole point of bricks is to like get them on
Yeah.
discount or like try to buy in bulk, or like you get like or like big margins on small purchases. When you're botting, you're trying to get like the hype stuff, so it's already a competitive market. Then there's the people who like. There's like people who like flip camera gear or concert tickets or the bots by themselves, and like they don't even worry about the product that the bots are getting. Like Jose that we had on last episode, he restores shoes. That's what he does. That's how he makes his money. Brian loves to go into stores on drop days. He was driving around town today trying to like enter all the raffles for the Grateful Dead. Like he will
Brian's
drive
always
everywhere.
going in person.
Brian
drove
drives
the-
everywhere to go get
Oh,
his
that
stuff.
reminds me. Brian's actually supposed to come by and pick 2 shoes up off me.
If he comes,
Yeah,
let's
he
say
drove
what's
down
up
to
to
San
him.
Diego today. I'm
But
gonna drive down tomorrow.
we are a little bit limited
I
on
have
time.
practice tomorrow down there.
Mason, I was hoping to cover 2 Q&As, but I think we only got time for one. Mason, you want to pick one? Or you want to have
The two options are scammers and most embarrassing reselling moments.
you want to have Noah and Cole pick one, and then the next one we'll move to another week.
I want scammers.
Sure, sounds great.
Yeah.
Scammers.
That's probably what
Alright,
Mason wanted
I
to.
already know where Cole's going here. I already know where he's going.
Let's let him start off then.
See, now
What's
I'm
your
confused.
experience?
I don't even know where I'm going now. But so scammers, it's fucked, you know. But everyone's trying to make bread, and fuck scammers, you know. It's a dick move, but if that kid's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna scam somebody, make some money. Cool, man. I mean, it's fucked. It's really unmoral. It's a dick move, but
I just hope you really need it more than
exactly.
anybody. If you're gonna do that,
if you're
like,
that
I
guy
hope you
with
need it more.
bread and you have money and you have outlets and you're still scamming, you're scum. But if you're a kid and I mean you're scamming, you're still scum, but you're still making money. Like,
I mean,
you're still a piece of shit. But
I'm not gonna support you on it.
I'm not gonna
but...
sit here like if you need the money, go ahead and do it. No. It's please don't do it. Do whatever you can to get out of that. And if it does happen to you, I just like when it happens to me, I just hope that I'm in a better situation than they are and that they actually need that more than I do.
Dude,
I just can't. I just don't like getting caught up in like trying to like plot revenge on these people. Like the like website that sends like animal feces. Like you can send animal feces to like people's houses and like people always like I have this dude's address. I'm gonna send it.
That's always what I'm trying to do. The first thing that happened that I do if I get scammed is I'm going after them. And I know you're the exact opposite.
I don't have a problem with like pulling up to somebody's house and like talking to them, confronting them, but I'm not gonna threaten them.
Yeah.
But like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna leave your place until I get my cash.
No, were you thinking of the Duke scandal? Was that what you were thinking of?
No, I've seen that, but I was more thinking of you were gonna take it to basically this person has no regard for anyone else. It's them or it's nothing.
It's me
and
versus
so it's
the
these
world.
types of people. Yeah, it's these types of people where they just don't care about you.
It's like botters.
Like yeah, they yeah exactly. Like botters.
No, you're a fucking scammer.
I'm telling you right now. I don't care about the guy up in Oregon trying to cop his pair on sneakers. Like, I wish
if he gets it, he doesn't have tax anyway.
Yeah, fuck that guy
exactly.
for not having tax, bro.
like I wish I could tell you that I cared about him, but I don't know him. So these scammers are going around. Why would they care about you? So like, it's all personal gain, and that's how it is all the time, and that's just the world. But what's wrong with it is that you're basically telling like
you're exploiting people.
You're exploiting people. See, I'm not exploiting people. I'm exploiting the website that's servicing
Fuck big corporations.
like the shoe. So
Just got political really fast.
Yeah. No, I'm just exploiting the website, whereas this person is exploiting this individual person, and they know what they're doing, and they know it's screwing over the person. I'm not screwing over anyone by keeping them from getting a pair of shoes. I might not maybe they'll get a pair and make $80 like I would have on a pair of Zions, but this as a scammer, you're just targeting someone, and it's just personal. And I'm like, it's just kind of where
and you're genuinely taking money from
exactly.
Them, so Mateo, should we tell them?
Let's let them.
Are you gonna talk?
Have you guys ever been scammed?
So,
and if you have, like, what was the biggest scam that
ask
you've been
about
involved
if I could get into something. I didn't get scammed, but I got low key finessed. So because I'm a Supreme guy, so I don't know if you guys are into Supreme, but do you know who Duke's Archive is? I'm dropping his name, but
I've heard of it.
So he's in Germany, one of
know.
the biggest vintage Supreme guys on Instagram. And I had a 1999, it was either wine or burgundy. It was a crew neck. And I got it in a trade. I won. It was a nice trade. And I still regret selling that piece to this day. I wish I never did. But he told me it was worth anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200. And everybody was giving me somewhere around that, a little bit higher. And I ended up getting $500 cash and then a $700 box logo. Ended up being the wrong year of the box logo, so it was worth less. And he ended up listing it for $1,850. And he was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, man." I was like, "Motherfucker, bro!" Like straight up, like I'm not gonna say he scammed me, but he fucking finessed me. He finessed the shit out of me. And that was before I got bigger into reselling. Like that was still us in our first few months. But yeah, man, he finessed the shit out of me. And I still regret selling that piece to this day.
That happens, bro.
I was actually scammed 2 weeks ago.
What the fuck was I for this? I don't remember this.
So I talked about flipping bots, and they basically all these bot restocks happen over Twitter. They tweet. They're like, "We're restocking in 10-15 minutes," and you get on there and you just try and check out. And there's this bot called Launcher. I bought a copy afterwards, ironically. But this guy, basically, he said he got the bot. He showed me screenshots. He showed me everything. I was like, okay, cool. And so he had all these refs on Twitter, which is kind of where botters do all their refs. And I was like, cool. So he's like, here, DM me on Instagram. It's easier. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I DM'd him. Then he's like, okay, can you send me the payment via Zelle? And I was like, not really. Like, no. And he's like, why? And I was like, well, you're going to scam me. Like, I literally called it. I was like, you're going to scam me if I send this payment through Zelle. He's like, well, and then I was like, well, we can do Venmo or PayPal. Those are my two safest options. He's like, well, my PayPal's frozen because I'm not 18 and they tried to hit me with taxes, and I don't have a Venmo. I was like, make a Venmo. We'll do this right now. And he's like, no, I don't.
Dude,
he's like,
classic.
yeah. He's like, no, I don't have time. Just Zelle me. And I was like, all right. He was literally giving it to me for like, he was only gonna make $50. I would have made flipping the bot like $200. So it's just the thing where it comes back to, if it's too good to be true,
It is.
it is. So I ended up
reoccurring theme.
I ended up zelling him.
We said in, we talked about that.
Yeah. So I ended up zelling him. It was like $350. So I sent him $350, and so I basically was like, all right, I sent it to you. And he saw it pop up, but he didn't see it was processing. And he's like, haha, get scammed, and blocked me. It's like one of those things where it's like, you just gotta be smart about what you're doing, man. And it's just, it happens all the time, and you gotta be good about it.
Well,
How much time we got left?
here we go. Not much. Probably enough time for the story, and then we're probably going to have to cut it.
I don't know how much detail you want to go into it, but I think we definitely just need to include
Get
the
some
very
name drops.
end of that link that I sent you.
I'm just going to tell a story, and we're going to skip sleepers and
All right.
investments because this is too good of a story. We are telling you these stories for the listeners so that you
Don't fuck up like
you
us.
just be careful.
Don't fuck up like
okay?
us.
Look, I have never been scammed like this in my life. Like, I've been scammed like in Venmo for like a $30
Yup,
t-shirt. Or,
purely
like,
finessed.
I-
That's how it.
like I got scammed in a trade. Like, whatever. This was probably the worst.
Dude, pure
And this
finesse
happened
you.
2
That's
days
rough.
ago. This happened 2 days ago. I just made a Depop like over the weekend because I was like, why not just make another platform and like let's just it's pretty reliable. It's backed by PayPal. It's just like eBay, all that stuff.
I got scammed on Depop, motherfucker.
This dude, I link my Instagram so I can get people to my Instagram. Instagram is like my hub. That's what I
Yeah.
like doing. He DMs me on Instagram, no posts, like 300 something followers. I'm not buying anything off him, so I usually don't care what the account looks like if they're buying off me. He says, I want 4 of your bread Concord 11 lows, and I want those Beluga 2.0s. And I gave him my prices, and he was like fine with it. We negotiated a little bit, and he was totally fine. That's why I was like, okay, so he's not just taking it from my asking price. Like, at least he's going to try to
If
barter a
they
little
take
bit.
the bait,
He was totally
they're gonna
fine with-
scam you.
Yeah. He was totally fine with adding for shipping, even though it was super expensive because it was 5 pairs
Even
of
though
shoes.
shipping was
It
another
was like
$50.
$60, yeah. And so he told me, this dude was low-key smart, okay? He told me to request a PayPal from him. And so I did. I was like, okay, I'm not losing anything if I request a PayPal payment from you. But you know, like that was his way of saying, hey, send me your email or send me your phone number, we can talk there. Because that's how they get
Yeah.
the next step to you.
Basically an eBay or PayPal.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
If they ask
Yeah.
ask for like your email or something that's not related to payment, don't do it.
I know people through eBay, if they ever send you an offer and they're like, hey, text me or email me, instant scam.
Yeah, no.
Exactly.
Instant scam.
Don't.
Exactly. So if Mateo was going through this, I was like at work or something, and I'd been running into issues with eBay scams before, and I feel like it could have helped you out with that. But like, so then you sent the request.
Yeah, I sent the request, and then he never fulfilled it. He said, okay, make a listing on Depop and I'll buy it through there, which makes total sense. People do that all the time. It's like, if you don't want to buy off of some unregulated market like Instagram, at least you can buy it through PayPal and like it's backed up. So I was like, okay, that makes total sense. So I sent him the link. I made a Depop posting. I sent him the link to it. And then he's like, I just bought it. Check your email. And I got an email from Depop saying that he bought it for the price that I listed it for. It had his name and his address. And I was like, okay, cool. And I've never sold on Depop before. I made a Depop account like 4 days ago. And so I was like, okay, so I guess this is what happens when somebody buys something on Depop.
Sent you a fake Depop email.
It was a
That's
fake Depop.
rough.
I didn't, okay. So I packaged it
yeah.
up. I sent it to the post office. And I sent him the tracking number. Everything was fine. It makes sense that Depop wouldn't send you the funds just like Grailed until it like is delivered, you know?
Yeah.
But I never got a hold in my PayPal. Usually it'll come in my PayPal and say like you have this money on hold. And I didn't realize that until after I dropped it off at USPS. I had gone home and I was like questioning it. And I looked at my email. It wasn't something at depop.com. It was depopsupport at yahoo.com.
Rough.
And so I went to the Depop website. They're like, we don't use any third party.
I would have sprinted to the fucking store. Sprinted to the USPS store, bro.
I know. I couldn't find that answer. But I was like, screw it. It was like 10 minutes till closing. The post office like 12 minutes away. I made it 2 minutes late.
Rough.
And they wouldn't help me out. They would not help me out. And I was like, dude, I'm about to get scammed. I was like, the box right now is worth. I was like,
these guys were dicks.
I was literally out there 2 minutes after they closed. I was like, if you can find this box for me, I will give you $100. Like, this box is worth more than your paycheck. Like, you got to help me out here. He's like, oh, you got to call. He's like, you got to call the people you're sending it to so they can send it back. I was
he's
like,
scamming me.
I don't
he's
think you
not
understand.
Gonna send it back.
Yeah, I was like, he's not going to send it back. And so I went in the parking lot. I was like in the parking lot for half an hour. I called Mason. I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. And hopefully he's listening to this so that you know what's
fuck
coming.
You, bro.
I submitted multiple package intercept requests to USPS. So hopefully if they come across that package, they will stop it and revert it and return the
sender. If you
sender.
have a viable reason, yeah, they'll make you pay the postage fee. But if you have a viable reason, you'll get your package back.
But like, dude, I'm more than willing to pay the 100%. I'm gonna pay the $100 rather than losing $1,400 because holy crap. And me and Mason have been trying to call.
We got a service request. I was on the phone with USPS for like.
I can't believe I caught it. I caught it like 2 minutes too late, bro. I'm like so disappointed in myself. I have never gotten scammed, but like this.
Okay, but this isn't even the best part.
Yeah, Mason loves this
because after we got all this, it's ridiculous because what we talked about earlier is if you're scamming, you probably need it.
Hope so.
Let's say theoretically, if you have a criminal record, you probably are gonna get into scamming. And so I was just like, I wonder what this guy's up to. Like, what does he have? Like a personal Instagram?
I've never searched up my scammer like this,
Quincy something. And first link on Google.
Notorious fucking fraud.
Co-inmates of South Carolina, which is where we ship to, steal weapons from a senior citizen home. And I go in, says his name straight up, steals weapons from the senior citizen home, and is arrested. And this is in 2019. Dude's still screaming to get by. I'm like, I send this to Mateo. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is who we're dealing with.
And so Mason texts me, he's like, can we like expose him now? And I was like, Mason, do we want to expose somebody that's armed? And I'm like, he's across the country, but like still, he's like proven that he's dangerous. He's not some kid.
Bro, make that
like
flight.
24.
Make the flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he at least we got scammed by like
not a
like okay.
criminal.
I don't fault I don't fall for like give me your
this.
email, give me your phone number, but like. He didn't ask for my email. He asked for a PayPal request. That's how he got my email.
Good.
Because I didn't realize that. I was like, okay, I put my email in the Depop. Depop sent me the email. No, I submitted a request.
But the whole time we were sketched out. We were following our own advice. Like,
so
it's too
I was
good
like,
to be true,
there's no way. Like this thing's gonna fall apart. And he's like, well, he says he wants to pay the postage. I got a confirmation email. Like everything seems fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just feel so dumb. Like.
Because like this same exact thing actually happened to me my first month into reselling. I was like 13 or 14, except I got to the post office 5 minutes before they closed, and they hadn't shipped my package out yet, and I had them grab it for me. And they're like, well, we can't do this again for you. And I was like, that's fine. It won't happen again. Trust me.
I am so mad. I showed him. I was like, dude, here's my ID. The address matches the return address. I have the receipt. There's 2 packages. Here's the tracking number. It's behind that door. I just need you to grab it. We'll do whatever. He's like, no, sorry. It's 6:02. I can't do anything to help you. I was like, if you ship it out. He's like, you have to come back tomorrow morning. I was like, you're going to ship it out tonight. If I come back tomorrow morning, there's absolutely no point. I was like, I need this now. And I don't want to say, like, I feel like I'm just going to hope that his hands were tied and that he wasn't just being a dick and, like, was just being lazy. But, like...
Bro was having a kid.
I was sweating. I was sweating the entire evening because I was like... I'm still sweating because it's still out there. It is... I'm going to pull up the tracking information. I'm going to pull the tracking information right now.
The saga continues.
Flight.
Oh, StockX hadn't given StockX didn't give me payout for 2 weeks. In the past month, StockX hasn't been giving payout for 2 weeks since
I'm on
they
hold
got the
for
item.
6 weeks right now.
My goodness.
I shipped
bro.
I
Yeah,
shipped
StockX
I
is
shipped
insane
something
right
like
now.
a week and a half ago. I got payments on those. I haven't had
Bro,
something
it's
that I sold at the
horrible.
beginning of
That's why you
June.
guys gotta buy. You guys gotta buy from us Instagram.
Yeah.
Three
honestly.
three to 4 day shipping, better
It's faster
prices,
for you
better
and for
customer
us.
service. Fucking app.
We're not shipping before you pay
Exactly.
because of exactly what we're talking about.
No GUA. Fuck that,
Exactly.
bro.
This is what's bugging me. The tracking information says your package is moving within the USPS network and is on track to be delivered to the expected delivery date. It doesn't tell me where. The last known location was 2 days ago in San Jose, which I knew it was going to. But where is it now? Did it get on a flight? Is it already out of the state? Because
So I've actually had that happen to me. What they do is when you do a return to sender or something like that, what I've experienced is they take the original address that it was going to be shipped to off of, like, they unlink it from the tracking information. And so if you can't find it on the tracking information, you're probably going to end up getting your package back. But it takes them like
It takes a while.
2 to 3 weeks for them to give it back to you.
I don't
So,
care. I just
but-
want an email saying we found your package. It's on your way back. That's what I need right
Yeah,
now.
if it gives you a little bit of relief, I've done the same thing. So my friend shipped it to the wrong spot, and what I did a return to sender, and then he sent it to me. Same thing happened there, but then I also did a change of address to me the other time, and so both times they take off the original like recipient address, and it just says nothing. So if it helps you out a little bit, that's been my experience with it.
If you have any other advice, if you have any other advice, I need it. If anybody listening to this,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, DM me and or West Coast Chords. I am not a scammer, and help us out with this shipping situation.
Check our refs, man. They're
I've
legit.
requested, I've requested a refund, but that doesn't necessarily cancel the label. I've done the what's it called, the intercept form. We're calling all the places. Mason called like a couple places in San Jose. We called the place in South Carolina. It's a whole
I
thing.
mean, so like
It's a
Like,
schmuck.
it's not just losing money. I'm losing my mind.
like so for reference, I work at a mail center. so like with my mail center, this dude came
I'm
in.
shipping through you now.
Yeah, bro, I get discounts too. But this dude he had shipped a vintage poster, and it got damaged, and he did it through eBay, completely legit, and it got damaged, and he had to give a full refund to the dude. You don't get shit from where you shipped it. You literally have to file a claim through USPS. And the thing is, like, that was like a $300 poster. That dude's not getting his money back for like a month, 2 months. It's fucked. And the
Damn.
sad part is right now, it's literally because of the coronavirus. Everything is so backed up and fucked. It's terrible. Like we have a few drivers that are doing like 3 to 4 extra hours because people can't work. It sucks. Everyone's getting fucked right now. But market's going up. Shout out to them checks because the market's going up. If you think
Things are
something's
good.
gonna go up, fucking buy it.
Trust your gut. That's been a nice little rule of thumb for me over like the past few months. I've just like trusted my gut, or I've gone against my gut and have seen the
Nike does
results of that
returns
happen.
30 days.
Nike does unlimited returns if you don't wear it.
Yeah, but
I'm about to return some like Kobe's that I bought in like November, and I still haven't sold them. And I'm gonna go
Noah
back and
knows,
return
but one of my biggest regrets ever is not buying Mentas when they were at $400, off-white Mentas. When they're at $400, never bought them. And then another one is not buying the black and Volt off-white Air Force Ones for $600. I would have gotten both of them for $600. One of them goes for over $600 right now. Biggest regret.
Those UNC off-white ones, you sold them for $900. What are they at right now?
Over 15.
$1,700
over
bucks.
13.
$1,700.
I still think
I
selling
have
at
a
900.
same
Selling at
size.
900 was definitely the move
Yeah.
though.
Well, I mean,
after
at
all
the
this
time,
Yeah,
to get
of
an extra
course.
900
600.
or 950 was literally market. So like I was like, fuck yeah, I sold them for market. Didn't lose any money, didn't lose any value. But that was 2 years ago. They're destined to go up.
Mm-hmm.
That's
All
all
right.
I gotta say, man.
We went way over the time limit, but I
Fuck it,
loved
better
all the
episode.
conversations that we had. Dude, this was this had to be one of the like best conversations.
We should get him on. We
Yeah.
can get him on again.
I'm always here to
with
help.
all the repeat. We're gonna cross you guys off the list, hit up all the other people, and we're gonna do loops. We should do that. We should have a poll at the end of when we're done with like all the
Who had the
lists that
best
we have.
podcast
Like,
and join again?
yeah, who do you want to see come back, or like an all-star pod? We should have like a freaking
All-Star podcast.
we should have a live panel
Oh, that's
And
dope.
we'll have like
IG Live, like have
Ideas,
people voting and shit.
we'll have like different people like come in, like all the guests will like come in at different times.
I'm with it.
Okay, new ideas, great ideas. I want to thank both the guys from West Coast Chords, from being on here today. If you don't know how to spell it, one of you guys want to spell it?
West Coast Chords. Everyone always thinks it's West Coast Records. It's West Coast Chords. But
Wait, I forgot to. Okay, it's already dragged on too long. I forgot to ask about this. What does that Instagram name mean? How'd you come up with that?
all him. I don't know.
Our friend actually, yeah. So we started our page with a third guy back in freshman year, and he came up with the name and everything about it. He told us what chords meant, and I was like, oh, okay,
I don't even know.
whatever, dude.
I think it's
And
like
so,
clothes.
Yeah, what does it?
Yeah,
I think it's clothes.
Yeah, it's clothing.
Wow.
And so like he made the page, he made everything, and then a month later he's like, I don't
wanna
want to
do it.
resell anymore.
And he started up.
And
so I was
shout
like,
shout
okay.
out to Vonko. Shout out our boy. He just started reselling
Yeah.
again. But he was like, yeah, man, I don't
Yeah.
want to do it. And we were like, all
Yeah.
right.
But it flows,
fuck it,
and
we'll
we're
just
like,
take
cool,
over.
it works.
Yeah.
West Coast
Yeah,
Chords
we're like,
is
it
dope.
works, it flows.
Yeah.
E- Everybody always is like, how do you run an account with another person? It's not that hard, man. Like, like me and Noah, we have separate colors for story posts. Like, it's not that hard to do it with another person, and it honestly helps.
Mason, we should do that. We should do
It-
separate colors.
Yeah, like I'm green, he does like red or something. But it helps, you know, like you can always have another person to ask for advice that isn't competing against you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like we would never fuck each other over in trying to cop stuff, except fuck you because you have bots. But besides bots, like we never compete against each other. We're trying to make our own bread. Like we also, people always think like, oh, do you run it 50-50 and share profits? No.
Yeah, we got that question too.
That's what people actually have been asking me that a
No,
lot.
'cause that'd be stupid,
lately,
like-
and I'm just like, no, that's just not really sustainable.
You just share.
or anything.
We just
That
share the
makes
same
sense.
platform. We handle
Exactly.
our own inventory.
Like
Yeah.
there's months where Noah outdoes me by bank, and there's months where Noah's laying back doing his own thing. I'm making some money. Like
yeah.
it's how you decide to do it. I guess it's how you want to run it.
Yeah.
My response is generally, Cole doesn't sell anything. He'd be getting free money. So,
Hey man, I think it's a hobby. I enjoy it because it's what I like. So when I'm selling, like I only buy it and sell stuff in my own size, and everyone's like, "Why do you do that?" Well, you find people that are in your own size.
That makes
So like
sense,
I'm in a few groups like in my own like personal group chat that are size 12 boys. Shout out size 12 boys. But those super cool, and if you always have the same sizes, people know what they're getting.
I never mess with I try not to mess with my size. Then there's no debate on whether I should keep it or not because that's just money out of my pocket. And I messed
guess.
up because I got a pair of human races that are too nice, and I haven't even
Go
listed
either
them
way.
because I kind of want to keep them, but like it's not a pretty sight right now.
Also, before we end, if you have the chance to sell a personal and make money, just sell it. Just do it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like I had 4 pairs of off-white Prestos because I made money on every
No
pair.
No one's gonna care that much.
No point of keeping it if I can make some
Yeah.
quick bread, you know? Like
Yeah.
personal, like
alright.
realistically, personals ain't shit. You want to get your bread up. That's what it is.
Personals are like
Yeah.
It's
personals are
liquidation.
has to be
It's-
like a low priority. thing.
exactly.
It's
It's
like,
but the things with
Secondary.
personals, it's also
Secondary.
liquidation to know like maybe you're low on cash. You have a fucking $400 shoe that you got for $250. You're gonna make some money. You know.
all
great
right.
insight. Great insight from everything that we covered today. I am like
Yeah.
lit up with emotion. I'm like fired up.
You want
I'm
to
ready
just
to go
kill
buy
your
a pot.
scammer.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Hey, man.
I'm ready to
DM me, I'll
go.
help you.
I'm ready to go get NSB and go like make all my money back from being scammed if I don't get this package back. But yeah, just another quick shout out to West Coast Chords. Make sure you guys go follow them. Love talking to you guys.
Hour 22.
Hope this, yes, probably the longest podcast, but not by much. But I want to thank everybody listening. Dude, what last podcast didn't we say like 2,400 followers? We hit 2,500 like the other day. Like
Right on.
the growth that we've been getting and the support that we've been getting for Eminem at least is I cannot thank everybody enough.
I
It's
mean,
like
before we end, just real
It's
quick, if
insane.
you can turn your reselling into a brand, like that's what me and Noah did. We sold shirts to like our close people that we resell with. We don't want it to
Exactly.
just be like buy our shit. We want to not make it a family thing, but where you can unite and be a collective group of people
Like
who
it-
enjoy each
yeah.
other. You know, and that's always been our thing. We want people who are going to buy off us, but also be our friends. You know?
Yes.
So like,
we're your friends.
But,
we will be your friends and buy off of you.
I appreciate
So-
it.
Alright,
I thank you on that one. But
Yep. So
All right,
Shout out,
man. Thank
boys.
you for having us on.
Later.
thank you
Thanks for
everybody
having
for
us, man.
listening. Signing off. I'm Mateo,
I'm Mason.
Colt,
And Noah.
and we will catch you guys in the next one.
later, mates.